Are you ready to start the new year with a solid nutrition plan? Well, you are in the right place, as we here at the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast will be talking about the 5 essential strategies to set yourself up for success when it comes to nutrition. We are going to be combining mindset, exercise, and of course, the nutritional aspects of things. And by following these tips, you will create a balanced, sustainable approach to healthy eating in the new year. So if you're ready, listen up and lean in as we elevate your mind.
Yay.
Nutrition. Okay, well, I had a baby.
Yeah, I want to know how are you? What's been going on for the last 2 weeks?
I had a baby called Podcast She Shed Studio. It's so beautiful. It has full podcast setup with acoustics and wallpaper.
Ooh.
We put because we were like, do we paint the back wall?
No,
do we not
wallpaper.
Yeah, so we did black wallpaper on the sides, the acoustic panels in the middle, 2 palm trees, our chairs, a black little rug, a TV for our logo, and then I'm going to get a table because the TV is on a stand. You guys, you'll see it. It's on a stand that is like tall. So it's basically one of those stands that holds the TV and then has like the pole underneath and the platform at the bottom. So on the platform at the bottom, we can put a little table. And we have our fancy lights. What?
I was going to say, no, it just looks so good.
It looks so good. We have exposed beams. We have drywall and my wood floors.
What cute.
It's crazy. Like, Mark did such a good job and he's so proud, and he should be proud. I'm proud of him.
He should we should get him like a podcast thank you thing, like a I don't know, like a trophy or something.
Yes, the handyman of the year.
Yeah.
So we just moved in Friday, and then today's my first day, of course, working from here. So it's very exciting. I personally helped with half of the flooring, and then I got frustrated.
That sounds about right for me too. Like, I'm not so annoying. You are.
Yeah, it's so annoying. I put up the wallpaper with Mark's help. I help like clean out some of the because you'll see when you get here, there's cracks that we had to fill in with this like foam stuff. So you'll see a little. I mean, it's not perfect. So I helped paint. I helped put up the speckles. There's little speckles on this. I helped to sand the exposed beams because there's like glue and shit on them. That's
Was
it.
this shed here when y'all bought the house, or are you guys putting it in? Okay.
I'm going to create a reel to show you guys like the transition. Like this motherfucker had like wooden shelves everywhere. So behind me was like 2 shelves, like big shelves, thick shelves. The shelves wrapped all the way around. I don't believe there were shelves on that side, but there was a workbench in front of the window right here. But it also had full electricity. So when we bought the house, they called it a tiny house because it had full electricity. It's not a tiny house because it doesn't have water, but
false advertising.
False. So now it's a full-blown content studio.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. It's so awesome. But now the real question is, what do we replace this with? Because this was in the gym, what piece of equipment should we get?
I know.
Have you thought about this?
I thought of a ski erg last night, and I was like, ski ergs like aren't multifunctional and they're terrible. So
I want a multifunctional something or another.
Do you need because I was like, they already have a cable machine, they already have a squat rack. I was like, they don't have enough room for a sled. What else could you get?
Somebody gave us a Smith machine, but it didn't work very well. So
yeah. No. You almost there's gotta be something cool. Like, what about a hip thrust thingy?
We already have one. We bought a hip thrust sissy squat 45-degree hyper machine. It's pretty awesome.
I don't know.
You can get a hack squat machine, but that's still just
that's only one thing. What about leg press?
Yeah. I would a hack squat leg press combo.
Yeah, because they've got that. I think Titan Fitness has it too.
Yeah.
Because Michael wanted me to get that. And I said, why would I get that? He goes, because I want to use it. I said, why don't you use the barbell that I've got you that you haven't used yet? And he said, well, I want this. And I said, why don't, as soon as you use the barbell, I'll get you that.
So, is he still going to the trainer?
No.
Oh, I guess we should have said for those listening, if you want to skip all this junk that we talk about, check out the show notes below. We didn't say that part. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with your family and friends. Help them change their lives.
What about an abductor adductor machine?
I thought about that, but no.
I know, like you got to get something that's this is the thing about having a home gym. Like if you're going to purchase something, it needs to have multi-use purpose.
Correct. That's why I bought that one machine, because it has a hip thrust, a hip extension, sissy squat. I have been going to the gym though. Oh, that's new for me.
You've been looking very hot, Christina.
Thank you. I've been eating more, and I have been working out more just because I like to go to the gym. So one of the days I just do kettlebell mobility.
Oh, fun.
But the interesting thing is this was like this back in the day, is I am more likely to work out on Saturdays if I work out at home than if I go to the gym, but I'm more likely to work out like Monday through Friday if I go to the gym than if I work out at home. So Saturdays used to be my, we talked about it, where I just turn up the music, go all out. But now we just walk down to Oso and get a coffee, which is fun too. It's a nice little couples
strolly rolly
thing. Yeah. But yeah, I think also I lift super heavy here, but I noticed because of the accessibility, because we have adjustable dumbbells, but they're the old school ones, right? Yeah. So it's just kind of that mindset. Like I could go up to 35 on this Z press, my dumbbells, but I'll just stay at 30 because it's convenient. Whereas at the gym, I can just grab the 35s and they're there, right? So I've been feeling good. I feel like I'm, been eating basically at maintenance, I guess. I'm maintaining my calories? Weight. No.
Oh.
I've been tracking my weight.
Yeah.
So I haven't been tracking calories. But this week I decided to go on a mini cut just for 3 weeks. Just to see if I can shed some body fat. I did it in body scan. This is also new. I have it actually.
Oh yeah. We got to go out to Glendale.
Oh yeah.
Go do our big bod pod stuff.
Yeah. I don't know where I put it. I thought I had it here. Anyways, I'm down 10 pounds from the last time I did one at that gym.
Sweet.
And down a percentage of body fat. So my body fat.
I lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks.
Yay!
That's abnormal, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm 22% body fat.
Nice.
In body scan. So who knows how accurate that is. I don't feel like I have that much body fat on my body. Like when I look at myself in pictures, but whatever. So that's new with me. My dog's still alive. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. So we went to Prescott. So my dad had to cancel Thanksgiving because he thought he was going to be under chemo and he did not want to see anyone. I understand. So my best friend that I had lost touch with, we'll call it that. We kind of separated from each other for 3 years. We reconnected, and her family invited us to Thanksgiving because we've had Thanksgiving with them in the past.
Damn.
So yeah, so we went up to Prescott, but we got an Airbnb, and this Airbnb was so cute. It was like someone's shed like this, but like bigger. It was their garage that they extended. It was awesome. If we go back to Prescott, I will stay there again. But somehow this fucking dog gets stuck between the couch and the wall. Brooklyn. I'm like, how did you get back there? And is freaking out, can't get up, shit's everywhere. Yeah. I'm like, damn it, dog. So Mark and I were like, she's going to kill herself. She was going to kill herself doing some dumb shit. And I just told him, I was like, I have to be in control of her passing. If this ends up emergency room situation, I'm going to have a hard time with this. So we're thinking in the next couple weeks.
Ooh.
But then this morning she shows up. She's like, "Hi, everything's great." And I'm
She's
like,
still doing
"Fuck
her
you."
3 things.
She's still doing her 3 things, but
Brooklyn.
she's not gonna have any toenails left because her feet drag.
Oh.
So all her little that's another story. I took all my nails off because number one, I couldn't go to the nail doctor whatever you want to call it, because my dad was in the hospital.
Yeah. The nail salon.
Yeah, nail doctor. Then we started doing the shed.
Yeah.
So I took my nails off and they just won't stop. Like they won't stop breaking.
Yeah.
So I'm like my dog. So I know what it feels like.
Yeah. Because isn't like the fake nails, they weaken your real nails?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every time I go, they go, "Oh, you have such strong nails." And I'm like, "Oh, really? That's good." Like,
I like your impersonation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The doctor told us 2 to 4 months. Oh, not in Brooklyn. Doctor gave her 2 to 4 months, which I already talked about, but I didn't talk about it with you. Did I? I don't remember.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
But we're just
my timelines are totally fucked right now. So
yeah.
If you already told me,
so they give her 2 to 4 months to live.
Ugh.
Well,
why 2 to 4 months? Like, how did they determine that?
She just was like, she's not doing well. She hasn't sat down. She's pacing. She's lost a bunch of weight, a muscle in her face. And she can't get up. Yeah, that's the thing about her diagnosis is it's supposedly not painful, but then she'll go into these like panting panic attacks. She goes, what she's doing right now is her being in pain. And they're like, oh. And she was just like, it's up to you. I think she wanted to say like, she said she still has a spark in her eye. So when she loses that, and I'm like, well, what if she doesn't lose that? And then I end up in the emergency room with her. That's what I told her. I don't want that to happen with my dad being sick and my dog being sick. I need some control.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, but I don't want to put her down if she's like, yay, I love my life.
Yeah.
Stupid. So dumb.
I know.
So, but she got herself caught up in the back of a couch. For my nail doctor, I need to call her this week. Well, now my nails are too short. I mean, look at this thumbnail, you guys. Is like, oh, it's so gross. It's right on the like. If it was any lower, it'd probably like be like super raw. You know how when it gets too low? Where are you at? Look at that little nub. Look at that camera though.
That's I know. More importantly, the camera's on fire.
Then there's this like janky one. So I think I've told you, my boss that I worked with for 10 years, if you had nails that look like shit, she'd like make you take the nail polish off. She'd make you like, she just like nails. I think one of the housewives says nails are like the thing people see all the time. I don't remember what she said exactly. Like your hands. And are
you not worried about your nails being like too brittle now though?
Yes. I mean, I was going to buy this stuff that my girlfriend had suggested called like nail tech, and it's supposed to help strengthen your nails. So I might just go on might go get a manicure. Just be like, don't worry, Tracy, I didn't go anywhere, but please do my toes because those are all jacked up too. I have gel on my toes. It's basically like halfway. It's like halfway down. Yeah. It's been a thing, So that's my baby story.
I don't have a baby story other than
the baby story. How's your YouTube going?
Oh my gosh.
I don't have the analytics.
Good. I think I'm working on it, but like, it wasn't more so of like getting a lot of followers. It was more of like informational purposes.
Yeah.
So there's about 2 to 3 videos that come out every week. I'm trying to get this hangnail now. And it's going good. It's interesting because every time, of course, I try and film, I get interrupted now from the baby. Yeah. So I'm like, well, that's pretty accurate. But it's going, and I've gotten good feedback on it. So I'm just like, okay, it's kind of nice to do something, and like, for example, like today with us podcasting, it's kind of nice just to like do something for myself again, because so much of my time is like sitting and breastfeeding and burping a baby or sleeping with a baby. But yeah, that's one of the episodes I'm going to record this week, is like talking about like, it's really hard to like get information that when something's taboo. So like, for example, she doesn't sleep well in the bassinet, and I don't know if that's because of me or because of her. And so for me, it's just like not worth it for her to sleep in the bassinet right now until the night lady comes and helps me figure it out. So she sleeps in the bed with me, but that's apparently like not good. And I'm like, well, I need to fucking sleep. So if she's in the bassinet, I'm up and down all fucking night. And so we just decided that this week she's going to sleep in bed with me until the lady comes, and then that lady will help us figure out what to do. But like, you can't find information on that of like,
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine too.
Does mommy need to regulate her nervous system?
My mommy?
Is that why you're waking up? You.
Oh, no, I like, she sleeps really fine with me when I'm in there, but like in the bassinet, because she like she gets upset and fussy and then doesn't sleep. And so then I'm up getting her, trying to calm her. And then I've got to get up anyways to feed her, put her back down, change the diaper. It's just a process. Yeah. And so it's just
her little butt.
Yeah, no, she's so cute.
She's so cute.
She is.
And you've also failed me. I'm going to talk about Amanda's failures as a mom so far.
Go ahead.
I should receive my daily fucking picture.
I know.
It makes me happy. I'm going through a hard time right now. I need pictures. Oh my God, stop it. Okay, so now we have to talk about the fact that I thought she had the Michael kind of like.
She doesn't have the Michael flip lip anymore.
Now she's got them. I mean, you have great lips. She needs your lips. Okay. They look like filler.
I was hurt this morning.
I can't see it. I can't see my baby. I'll save it for tomorrow. I already got mine for today.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
anyway,
she doesn't have the flip lip anymore.
What was the first thing you ate? I know you ate mostly everything, but like, did you eat anything that you couldn't eat?
No.
Quote unquote.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? Here, this is something we should talk about. Is how's the hospital food at where your dad goes?
He liked it.
Oh, okay. The hospital food.
Yeah. Actually, I liked it too at the cafeteria. They had a lot of great options.
Oh my gosh. The hospital food we got, because they would just bring like a plate every so often. I'm not really sure how it worked out, but it was like, what the fuck are you serving people? Like, it was like, oh my gosh. And again, I'm coming from a different place. French toast and butter, like, was breakfast.
Oh yeah. My dad got that, but he couldn't eat it. So then he got fruit instead because he's a diabetic.
Oh, see? Well, and I'm like, I can't believe that's like that's your breakfast, because there's nothing nutritious about French toast.
Well, and scrambled eggs. He got like weird scrambled eggs.
No, they didn't give me scrambled eggs. And then there was something else where I was like, oh my gosh, this is not good to be serving people like that are in the hospital, probably because they're sick or like recovering. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Michael told me to pretty much shut the fuck up about it. He was like, he's like, Amanda, seriously. And I was like, yeah, I know, but okay.
I always love hospital salad bars. I think that's what I did. I did salads, or then they had one day, and I hadn't eaten, and I think it was the day, I don't remember what day it was when I was there. I had like a burrito, and it was so good.
Yeah.
It was chicken, beans, black beans, rice. It was so good. I'm like, I'm going to eat this whole thing because I was so hungry. And then they had like bowls, different bowls you can make. And my sister did a lot of those where you can like build your own bowl. Yeah. St. Joseph's. Good shit.
Oh, yeah. See, we were at Banner because that's what we had because we stayed in the hospital longer than we anticipated as well, because she had some issues. So then like we ordered out a lot. And so that was kind of challenging, because it's like, what do you get? Like, I don't want to always get True Food Kitchen, but I don't want Sonic. So
Delight, Protein House.
I should have.
Chipotle, Kava. You should just text me, because
I know I should have. I couldn't think of anything, because I was like,
Chick-fil-A.
I don't even know. Like, well, Chick-fil-A I couldn't do because that's what I threw up when I got the balloon in. I know. So Michael was like, I'm going to order Chick-fil-A. And I was like, really? Like, oh,
that's not what I want. Yeah.
I know.
I interrupt this episode to bring you our December promo, and this is our introductory offer on the Mindset Method Movement, our revamped group coaching program. This program is unlike any other group coaching program out on the market and is going to be priced so competitively because we want everyone to take advantage of this. In our program, you will begin working from the inside out on your relationship with your body, food, and self-worth through the Mindset Method curriculum. In my Mindset Matter app, every Monday, you will receive a reflection that will help you work through why you struggle with control over food, why your food noise is so loud, why you hate the image you see in the mirror. Then from there, you get to take the information that you've learned and bring it to one of 2 coaching calls per week. Yes, per week. And for those who sign up now, you'll be working directly with me. So you get to process all of that stuff with yours truly. You'll also get access to our on-demand training program that includes gym, at-home, time crunch, body weight, and core workouts that change every single month and all build on each other to basically create the body of your dreams. You will get custom nutrition coaching from one of my expert coaches, depending on your specific needs, whether that's autoimmune issues, peri-post menopause, prenatal or postnatal, or general nutrition. We have someone here at the Mindset That Matter for you. And last but not least, you will have access to an amazing community of like-minded individuals who are looking to do something different in regards to changing their relationship with themselves mentally and physically. And for this introductory offer, we are offering our group coaching program for $275 a month with a 30-day cancellation notice. This is literally the same price that other coaching programs charge just for nutrition coaching. And if you sign up in December, you will be moved right into our Winter Wellness Challenge. You're going to jump right in, and we're going to do that at no additional cost. So you can start working with us today at no additional costs. So if you're ready to change your relationship with yourself through your mindset, through your movement, through your nutrition, check out the show notes below for more information. Now, back to the show.
Well, speaking of nutrition, I think it's important for us. We've been really focusing in on, setting goals, visualization, but we really wanted to, talk specifically about setting nutrition goals. And, for our people listening to this, they will oftentimes just follow someone else's plan. There's so many programs out there right now that will give you a meal plan or some dumb shit. And that makes it really challenging because it's not something either you like or you can even follow. It's a big change from where you're at now, right? So then it's this huge jump into this very high level of discomfort, which ultimately is why a lot of people fall off. And so I think, just setting the goals, but more importantly, understanding what also not to do. And, the reason why this is so important is we want to start the year with a sense of direction and being able to say, okay, in months 1 and 2, I'm going to just increase my protein to 100 grams, right? And the way that I'm going to do that is through eating 8 ounces of Greek yogurt every day, because that will help me hit that 100 grams. Being really specific is helpful, but having that plan obviously is going to help you be more consistent. And it's not even at the end of the day, spoiler alert, it's not even about hitting the type of food you eat. Yes, more processed foods are going to they're more addicting and you're more likely to overeat them. But if you can just stay consistent with a diet like I'm doing right now, just staying consistent with my diet and making sure I have protein at each meal, you will see results. I'm surprised on how my body's changing right now because I'm not really trying anything.
Right.
I'm just really consistent with my food and lifting heavy.
But I think in your defense of that, you've had a plan over the years too. So
true.
You have a lot more flexibility than someone who's trying to start this again for their maybe 5th year in a row. And even then you still have a plan. So for example, you said you're going into a cut for 3 weeks. That was an intentional plan. This is why. And then it's easier for you to stay consistent during that time and you have a direction that you're going to go. And you're also keeping in mind probably, okay, I need to do it these 3 weeks because then there's Christmas and then the new year. And I don't want to really be in a cut at that time.
Nope.
Whereas,
Exactly.
So there's even in your short term, there's a plan. But what we're talking about too is for the most of the listeners and most people that come into the new year, there is no plan besides like, I'm just going to lose weight in 2025 and we're going to go from there. And it's like, okay, but how and when and for how long? And there's so many questions that we need addressed that they're just doing the same plan over and over without any direction, like you're talking about.
Right.
And so then that's where the consistency falls off.
Exactly. Well, and that's a big thing of looking at what we need to change from the past that didn't work before, right? That overall is going to, again, it's going to help you be consistent, but even just having that set plan, no matter, and we'll talk about different strategies, is going to reduce your stress.
Yeah.
I was talking to Laura earlier today about a client, and I looked at the clients, MyFitnessPal, and she didn't have anything in there, and she's in another country and it's 4 p.m. And I'm thinking, and she thinks that tracking's hard and stressful. I'm like, well, yeah, when you wait until the end of the day, I'm just talking about tracking in general, guys, but you wait until the end of your work day to remember everything that you ate. And you're trying to put it in, and then you're pissed because you went over. Like, yeah, that's stressful, right? Yeah. And the same being true with going into the new year. If I just have this, willy-nilly plan of whatever, and then I get frustrated because it's not working for me because I didn't set it up right, then yeah, it's going to feel like you're a failure. It's going to be stressful. You're going to feel defeated. And we're really trying to stop your diet.
So there's
we're really trying to avoid that. Exactly. And, just having that sense of accountability of the self of like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, right? This is how I'm going to do it. And this is how I'm going to make sure it's realistic this time, which we will give you all of the tools on that. But I just see, we already talked about it, the fad diets, the, crazy challenges that people do during this time. I'm over. Like, we did a 6-week winter wellness challenge, and there is nothing in there that's restrictive at all. It's literally like this week they're working on adding a protein and a veggie at each meal. That's it.
Perfect. And I think that's more of what in our ideal world, that's what New Year's plans and resolutions should be when people are focused on like health and weight loss is, what can I add? Can it be like a color? Can it be a protein? Can I get, if I get 60 grams of protein, can I get 70 grams of protein instead of like the Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig or whatever diet that they come out with for next year? Optavia. Is that the snack ones? I don't know.
It's the shake ones.
Got that too. So it's one of those things of, because these diets create unrealistic expectations.
It's like, what is that? Sorry. It's like, what is that? Like, for those of you not watching, I'm like looking behind me. I'm like, what did I forget to put away in this shed? Sorry.
That's okay. We're on the first day back, people.
Yeah, we are.
So what happens is they create these unrealistic expectations, which makes for unrealistic goals. And then that's where we cut out the entire food groups or do the eating of like, eat this plan and you'll lose weight because I did it, and then your fad diets. And then that creates, again, like going to the mindset piece, this all or nothing mentality. So I'm either doing all of this perfectly or I haven't done it perfectly. Therefore it's not working or it won't work. Right. So I either, like, for example, with our winter wellness, if they have the protein and the veggie at every meal, great. Maybe lunch is coming up. They forgot the veggie at that meal. That's not a fail of the wellness challenge. It's an opportunity to say, oh crap. Okay. So tomorrow I need to make sure to pack a broccoli or something. And then for dinner, maybe I'll have 2 servings of vegetables instead of just the one to balance it.
Well, and what we did too is last week, it was just getting a veggie at each meal.
Yeah.
And now this week they're adding the protein and they have a whole list of proteins to choose from. Right. So like we're building on it. Now, normally with coaching with us, we wouldn't go that quickly. Right. But this is really just about finding balance over the holidays. And, I like that you put this in the notes. Like, a lot of people struggle with neglecting their plan. And I want to touch on that because, again, that goes back to the all or nothing mentality. I see with
some clients that creating a plan that's actually realistic, they have some sort of thought about it, like negative thought, like this isn't enough, or I can't do it the way my coach wants me to. Or one of the clients said she had PTSD from her last program because she was not feeling like the plan we created for her was so different from the plan they created from her, which was very restrictive, that it almost made her want to neglect our plan because she had like trauma over. She realized it was happening.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It makes me almost like not want to do it because it actually is the thing I need to do, but it feels like someone's going to come shame me like they would have.
Yeah, like it's too gray area. I need more black and white.
Yes, that's
rules.
exactly. Yeah. And I was like, no, we're going to do it this way. And now she texts me. She's like, my freaking scrubs are falling off of me. I'm like, great.
Yay.
So, and neglecting the plan of like, and again, this is all mindset mentality. Well, it's January, 1st. So I'll just wait until the 6th. And then it's like, oh, it's my kid's birthday this week. So I'll just wait until da-da-da. If that's the problem, if that becomes your mindset, then the plan, it's not sustainable for you.
Right.
You have to rewrite it. So,
well, and then on the flip side of that, when they're delaying, the flip side is they lack the patience too. So there's a spectrum of like, I'm not doing it. But then when I finally do it, I'm pissed after a week that it hasn't been working.
Right. So then, oh my God. So I just had this conversation with the client and I love her so much, but I was just like, hey, like she's like, oh, I prioritize protein and like this stuff. And she is, but it's not to a point where she's going to see change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, you're getting 96 grams of protein in, sometimes less. However, I need you at like 120 right now, I had another conversation with the client. I don't understand why the scale's not moving. And go, remember, you had a choice to be at 1 pound of weight loss per week. You said that wouldn't work for you. So we're at 0.5 pound of weight per week. And with fluctuations from having drinks or whatever, you may not see that, in a linear fashion. So just remember that this is the reality. Like, we've got to bring it back. And again, just focusing on weight loss in general, right? A lot of people. Ooh, tell me.
Yeah, I've got a client right now where she's done a weight loss phase, but she's just food journaling. So the expectation when we started was, and she doesn't weigh herself either. So the expectation is there isn't a lot of data. So you cannot make up the data, right? So you cannot determine if this, like, I don't have the data to say this isn't successful because there's only so many things that we can determine whether it's headed in the right direction. And so we need to focus on that. And so at some point it gets frustrating because she doesn't know like if she's actually eating in a deficit, right? Like she knows she is, but there's not a calorie number that says I am at minus 500, I'm at minus 250. Right. But then again, the trade-off is, okay, so then we can track, but you told me we didn't want to track because it's too stressful. Like it's too stressful, it's too much energy. And I really wanted to work on like just what I'm eating per se, not so much the calories because she's been so calorie focused for so long.
Yeah.
So what's the trade-off here? But then the progress is going to be slower because there's not as many measurable things that we can look at, right? And maybe she is in a 250 calorie deficit as opposed to the 500. So that's going to be slower as well. But then when it comes to fruition of like doing our assessment, so measurements and body pictures, there's always like this, like, well, it's not fast enough. And I was like, well, the plan was never for it to be fast. That's not what we're working on. Like, yeah, we're working on weight loss, but we're actually working on a lot of other things that are probably more important, sustainable for you.
Yeah, no. Well, and that comes into our number one essential skill, which is our strategy, is reflecting on the past. So like for this client, being able to realize like what you were doing before was really restrictive, was focused on weight loss. Your goal is to not do that. And you are getting caught up in like the past mentality of needs to be fast, needs to be restricted, needs to, and so one of the main things, guys, to look at is how has your nutrition and your patterns around eating, how have they supported your overall health, right? And longevity, I would even say, because a lot of times people will eat well, whole foods, just to get to an end goal.
Yeah.
And then they'll go back to the junk. Whereas if my nutrition is supporting my health, I'm going to have those foods
no matter what. Yeah.
Right. Because they are what fuels my body.
Right.
But looking at like the past and your past behaviors is so incredibly important, because until we are aware of what has kept us stuck, we cannot change it.
Right. So like struggling as far as timing. So were you in a cut during Christmas or the holidays? Budgeting. So like, did you decide to have, so I mean, budgeting and like calories, right? So did we say, I'm going to have less during the week? That way I could have like 2 high calorie days for weekends, but I wasn't actually sticking to that. Cravings, was I giving into cravings? But was I giving into cravings because I was actually in too restrictive of a diet or too restrictive overall? Or was I more of an emotional thing that I was trying to, what's it called? Work with or coax? And then, or more so what I often see is lack of planning, like we've talked about over and over again, this lack of telling ahead of time. Cause so for example, that goes into when we get a client who's like, I just really want to lose 50 pounds. And you go, that's great, but that's probably going to take you 50 weeks, give or take. Right. And they like at a minimum, and then they think like, oh, no. Like I needed to lose it in like 5 weeks. And you're like, okay, well, this is a different conversation.
And this is not the program for you. Well, I think too, not just focusing on the struggles, but also focusing on, well, where did you do well? Where did you win? Right. Yeah. So I was able to hit hit a protein at each meal consistently. Great. Right. So that is a place where we can come back to, we can start with. Let's just get back to making sure we're hitting our protein at each meal. Or if you've been able to sustain that, awesome. Then just add to that plan rather than, again, taking away from it, which a lot of these like New Year's nutrition goals is oftentimes taking away, right? Yes. Instead of adding to it. Figuring out where your strengths are is super duper important, and really following up on those strengths. Again, maybe even just starting with those strengths and saying, okay, for this first week, I'm just going to stay consistent with hitting my protein. Maybe even taking those strengths and upping the ante a little bit, right? So both focusing on what did not work, your what was it? Your budget? Was it the plan? Was it giving into cravings? But then also focusing on what did work and emphasizing that. Yeah.
The next one is, and this is something that you talk about often, is figuring out and defining what is your why. So meaning why is weight loss or maybe gaining muscle, whatever the objective is. Maybe it's actually neither of those and it's just improving my health, right? Just kind of a general statement. And so why is that important to you? And until you're clear on that, it's going to be really easy to essentially fall off the wagon. Because so for example, we could say, I really want weight loss. Well, why? And it's like, well, I am just overweight. Okay. Well, what about being overweight is conflicting to you, right? Or uncomfortable. Well, it makes it really challenging to walk upstairs and I feel embarrassed when I walk in the office. Okay. What does that tell? Like, there's always a why until you get to the root of like that mindset piece that we talk about so often here. Yeah. And even going into, I just want to improve my health. Maybe that's because I see my family members and they're struggling in their 50s with health and I'm 30 and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going down the same route if I don't change anything. So when we have a why, it gives us a purpose other than, I don't know, I just want to lose weight. It's like, well, I mean, majority of people want to lose weight nowadays, seems like, right? So what makes you different and what makes that going to be achievable for you?
Right. A why is so important because, again, that's going to be your motivation. We talk about, the change needs to look easier or more irresistible than staying the same, right? Right. And so our why needs to be that strong. If
Mhm.
I stay the same, I will end up with diabetes at 50,
Yeah.
right? If I stay the same, I will have a heart attack. If I
Mhm.
stay the same, my children will repeat the same patterns of eating that I do, right? And the
Mhm.
why part is I want to recreate my relationship with food, not just for myself, but so that my children do not repeat the same patterns. I want to lose weight so that I have good cardiovascular health and maybe improved blood panels
Mhm.
so that I don't have a heart attack. I'm thinking
Mhm.
the person who walks up the stairs and it's hard to breathe. So for a lot of you, again, ask yourself, why do I want to change my nutrition? And if the answer again is, I want to lose weight, why is that important to you? Ask it to yourself 5 times. Ask, answer, ask it again, ask, answer again. So just like Amanda said, I just want to lose weight. Well, why is that important to you? Well, I, walk up the stairs, I get winded, I'm afraid to go to the office. Well, why does that bother you? Well, I think that people are looking at me and think that I'm, a lazy piece of shit. Well, why is that a problem to you?
Right.
Right. Well, that's how I felt my whole life, and I don't have any confidence, blah, blah, blah. Right. And now we're getting down to the
And I want to say, you might not know the answer to the why, like through that whole series, but it's more so of provoking the question and giving you like just more thought than I just want to lose weight. It's kind of like, I would say this similar to like our binge eaters, our emotional eaters, when they're like, I don't know, I just like ate the kitchen yesterday. And it's like, well, why? Right. But they shut down that feeling or that emotion. And we have to get to that
I had
in
the
order to
best. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, that's
Well,
it.
my client said, she goes, I had a binge and I know exactly why it happened.
Oh, good.
And then I won't share her story, but like, she was like, I figured it out.
Yeah.
And she was able to like walk herself through that. And now we're having a conversation about it. Okay. Where's your choice and where do you have a choice and where do you
Mhm.
don't? Because it was more
Mhm.
around like boundaries, and some of the
Mhm.
things she has to do are caretaking,
Mhm.
but she has to do it, right? Unless she hired a nurse in her
Mhm.
home, right? She is a nurse, but and then
Ironically,
the other
yeah.
thing, the other thing she had to do, she had a choice if she did them or not, right? So we started
Mhm.
talking about that, but good. The next thing we've already kind of touched on is really defining your goals and
Mhm.
not just, I want to lose weight, right? I want to lose 4 to 5 pounds a month for the next 3 months,
Mhm.
right? That's specific, that's achievable. Going back to the SMART goals that I talked about on our setting goals in 2025, understanding the timeline, looking at it from a macro and a micro and a macro. So what does it look like day by day, week by week, month by month,
Mhm.
right? And doing like then creating the steps. Okay, I'm going to add a protein to each meal. I'm going
Right.
to, make sure half my plate is full of colors. I'm going to eat until I can do 10 jumping jacks, but not until I have to sit, or not until I can't do 10 jumping jacks,
Mhm.
whatever that looks like. Being very, very specific in defining those goals.
Yeah. And I
It's
think
super
like
important.
you're giving a great list of examples that someone can use that's more health focused and adds
Mhm.
rather than takes away. What I would say with that too is write out the goals. But then, like, so for example, Christina gave those great goals. That's what I would focus on rather than I want to lose 50 pounds. And then as we're doing this for the winter wellness challenge, is so like you said, last week they started with just have veggie at each meal. Then this
Yep.
week they started with have protein at each meal. Now you don't have to do it that quickly. You could say, okay, for 3 weeks from January 1 to January 15th or whatever, 21st, I'm going to have veggies at each meal. And then I focus on that. And then you do it until it becomes like a habit, like where you go, oh, where is my veggie? Instead of like, shit, I need a veggie. Because there's a
Right.
difference in your mindset there.
Mhm.
But even say your goal is to lose 50 pounds, then you have to get realistic with it. And is it so that is specific? Yes. And we can measure that. But is it achievable to do in a year? The answer
Mhm.
is yes. But is it sustainable if I do it that way? Did I
Right.
learn anything? Have I done it in a quick fashion where studies show the quicker I lose weight, I'm more likely to gain weight? Is this something I've done before? So that's where like that SMART acronym is helpful to apply to each goal that you've written out and working through it. Because, and then we can combine them as far as what works together and what doesn't. So for example, you may find, okay, 50 pounds in a year is not realistic. It's not achievable. If I try that, I will probably feel like a failure. What about 25? 25 could definitely happen. But again, we have to change the expectation that it's not going to be 50.
Right. Well, and again, it's when we're talking about nutrition specifically, it's not just, like you said, could I do 50? Sure. But when it comes to nutrition, how consistent will I be?
Right.
Life gets lifey, or we have the birthdays, or we have the vacations, thinking about it from that perspective too, not just, could I do this? Sure. We could all do that. But what does your life look like? So I just had this conversation with a client. Her lifestyle right now is, drinks out, meals out, traveling for work, traveling for fun. And while she has made significant changes, very significant changes, there were enough to get her to where she is now. Okay. To get her to where she wants to be, she's going to have to change her lifestyle. Right. But she's not ready to do that. So for her nutrition goals, which we're literally revamping at this time, we're looking at what is going on in her life and then setting the nutrition goals for that. So she is actually the same client that was not getting in enough protein. So if I say, okay, you've been doing 90, let's do 95. And we're going to do that for the next 2 months. And then, so I'm pulling back and meeting her where she is right now. Has she been the client who's hit 130 grams of protein before? Yes, but that's not the season she's in. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, I think that's a good point for our fourth point, is that the plan needs to be flexible. So that's not necessarily planning ahead, but it's more so, which we'll get into the fifth point, but the flexible plan, like you're saying, needs to reflect where they're at currently. So not saying, okay, there's a difference between planning ahead as if you're the person that goes to the gym consistently and has their nutrition on point, and then who wants that. You need to have the plan that's flexible for you, for the person you are today. Yes, because that's what I see and come in the new year is that they plan for the person that they want to be, not for the person that they are. And then they're disappointed. And it's like, well, I mean, were you really going to be the person that goes to the gym 5 days a week? No. So not only that, but we need to consider holidays, events, parties, seasonal things that are happening. So like you said, for this chick, whether it's like an actual season as winter compared to summer, or just where she is in life, that she needs to be flexible with it. That's what we need to focus on. And so like, for example, if January, like your holiday festivities don't really end yet, maybe that's not the best time to enter into a weight loss phase. Maybe that's the best time to enter into like a mindful eating of like, how do I strategize when I'm at a buffet kind of option, or like a potluck option, and build on that. So that way, when I go into the weight loss phase, I already have those strategies come February or March.
Yeah. The plan being flexible is important for that reason, but also what you just said is so important for people is we need to have gone through some struggle. We need to have gone through some conflict with our food while we're doing this while our plan is maybe not as restrictive.
Yes.
When we can have this kind of, okay, like more liberal plan, then we have more opportunity to like get through conflict, meaning the buffet, the party, whatever it is, because we have more of this. I'm just going to use calories, more calories, for example, to play with. Then it's easier for us to learn from and get through these challenges we have with food. That creates a foundation for when we want to go into a weight loss phase. Being in a deficit is challenging in itself. Yeah. So we want to have already gone through the challenges of meal planning, getting protein in, going to a party, being in the buffet. We want to already have done that before we go into this really, I'm going to say really restrictive because we're conservative with our deficits, but
it's challenging. It's challenging because you're eating less than your body demands. So what you're saying is like just coming into it with, okay, I'm not there yet. That's who I eventually will be. But let me teach myself how to get through some of these conflicts first, and then I can go there. And that's just an example of like that flexibility of I'd rather start off with building a strong foundation than trying to put, this house together with mush.
Yeah. I forget which podcast we talked about that before of like, you've got to build a foundation. Like you can't build the walls and then be like, oh, just kidding. I still need like the piping, like it all layers on top of each other to build the house.
Right. Well, even like building the shed, it's funny because I talk about how quickly I wanted it. Yeah. I wanted it up quickly.
Yeah.
And I was getting mad because I kept asking Mark, like, do you need help? Do you need help? Which could he have used help? Sure. But then he's like, well, then I wouldn't be able to do it because then they would just come in and do it. And I wouldn't be able to do it. And I really want to do it. And I was like, okay, he really wants to do it. But then I was like, what is taking him so long? He followed it step by step. Like he put up the drywall. Then he put up the putty. Then he sanded the putty. Then he put it up again. Then he sanded it again. Right?
Oh my God.
Then we painted, or then we primered. Then we primered again, or sanded, primered again, speckled. Once the speckle was on, then we painted, right? And it was just like boom, boom, boom. And now it looks so fucking good.
Yeah.
If I would have done this, I would have cut all the corners.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, good thing I didn't do it because I would have been like, that's fine. Like,
yeah.
We'll just, like, there's no insulation. It's fine. We'll just wear big winter coats. Like,
yeah. I mean, you put insulation on the roof. Like, it's noise proof or whatever. But no, like for again, another, I had to be flexible with his plan because his plan was doing it right.
Right. Well, slow and steady too, and build the foundations towards it.
Exactly. Where I just wanted it up. I wanted someone to come in and do it all in one day. But that was not realistic.
And then into our fifth point too is his planning ahead of it. So he knew the materials that he needed to get. He knew like the time that things need to dry or whatever, settle. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
So, but when we're talking about like for ourselves and our health, we have to plan ahead. And I know, like, I'm sure the last like 8 episodes, you guys are tired of hearing how the planning ahead.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care if people are tired of hearing this because they still don't fucking do it.
Well, and
I tell this to clients all the time. And I'm like, I go into their MyFitnessPal at 2 p.m. and I'm like,
why is
where's
it
the plan?
Did you know?
Why is it empty?
Yeah. So,
and then they complain that it's stressful. And I'm like,
oh, well,
yeah, driving to a place you've never been to without a map is fucking hard.
Yes. But people did it.
Basically what you're doing.
So planning ahead.
Using the sun as your compass or an actual compass to get somewhere.
The sundial. There we go.
Yeah. Anyway.
So when we're talking about planning ahead, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, right? And that's it. So setting it in kind of parameters of, okay, so maybe these 3 months I'm doing this, these 3 months I'm doing that, these 3 months I'm doing whatever. But
and what she means by this and that is
maintenance,
like
bulk,
maintenance.
cut, or
well,
and honestly, it should be like maintenance, cut, maintenance, bulk, maintenance should be most of the year. If when you're planning it out so we'll take 12 months. If we'll say 9 out of those 12 months you're in a cut, we've got to talk. Because that's a long time to be in a cut. So 9 times 4, 32, right? I think. I don't even know. I know. We don't know. 18. What's 18?
36.
36. There we go.
I got
we were doing milk math this morning, so I don't do math at all.
Use ChatGPT.
Yes. So 36 weeks out of 52 is a long time to be eating less when we break it down. And so 36 times 7, whatever that is, that's how many days you've got to eat less. I know, don't even. So when you break it down like that, that's when we say, okay, 50 pounds for the weight loss is not really what we want to do, because if you're trying to
64 days.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Hold on. What was it?
It'd be 36 times 7, right? Because that's 36. How many days?
2, 4, 21, 252, maybe.
That's a lot. Okay, so we'll say 200 plus days. 200 plus
Yeah.
days out of 365. So 165 days out of the year, you can eat as much as your body likes. That's not a lot of days. And so we need to look at daily, monthly, or daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. And then that's where we talk about planning ahead. So planning ahead for your day. What do I need to have? But even looking ahead for the week. So on Sundays, what do I have going on this week that I need to plan ahead for and be aware of so I can adjust my nutrition, especially if I'm in a cut. Like this is where we say like weight loss isn't just like eating less. It's managing and planning ahead.
So I'll give an example. So I'm doing this mini cut right now. Honestly, I have no reason to do this, so my why might not be strong enough because I actually really feel good in my body and I feel like I look good, but I'm almost challenging my body a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I've been eating higher calories. I'm eating intuitively. So anyway, I have ASU game this Saturday.
Who they play?
We're in the Big 12 championship against Iowa State.
Didn't even
Like
know that.
we're crushing.
Congrats on your win against U of A.
Thank you. It was
You're
great.
welcome.
Then next weekend we have a Cardinals game on Sunday, and then the weekend after that we have a brunch at Maple and Ash.
Oh,
and so I know I'm so excited.
Oh.
So for me, I'm giving myself a high calorie day for those 3 days over the next 3 weeks. And then the rest of the days will be fine. I will be in my deficit, but I equal that out. And I think about it ahead of time. Now we have a play musical on Friday night, but I've navigated that before. I usually just drink like decaf coffee and try to maybe even caffeinated coffee because plays don't start at 7:30 and I wake up at 4 a.m. But that's really important, is looking ahead. And for our clients listening, like in your weekly check-ins, if you don't have a one-to-one call, and this will be important too for those who join our group coaching program who are listening, you want to let us know ahead of time so we can help you. You know, if, with our macros coaching with the group program, we will have the ability to submit a macro audit or a calorie audit, but you have to, as the client, audit yourself and say, this is where I've been. This is how many days I've been consistent with these calories. These are days that I wasn't consistent. My consistency is X percentage. And if it's under a certain percentage, then you have to just focus on being consistent with those calories. If you're not, or if you're over that percentage, then we can actually audit. However, say that you're like, I am going out this weekend. Can you guys just adjust my calories for me so I can have a high calorie day? Or in your audit, you recognize I have these 4 days where I'm at a lower calorie and 3 days where I'm higher, then we'll be able to adjust that for you. But going back to it, for our coaching, we will do this with our clients every week, where if say, what do you have going on next week? Is this something we need to have a higher calorie day for? Let me adjust your calories for this. Let's look at the menu, even of the place you're going to. Let's decide what we're going to have first. I want you to track that, and then track that first, track the rest of your day. So we're always getting plan. One of my favorite plans too, that a lot of coaches don't talk about, is like, how are you going to set yourself up so that after vacation, we don't have this, I had nothing in the fridge, so I went to McDonald's. Like, even thinking that far ahead. It's like people will plan up into the vacation, but then they'll get home and they've eaten themselves out of their food. Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's like the best time to, in that circumstance, to show that you are committed to health. And I mean that because if I'm planning through, then what is my plan when I return? Do I have the groceries delivered? Do I need to stop at the store? Maybe I'm leaving, what's today, Monday? Maybe I'm leaving Friday to Sunday. Can I go to the grocery store Thursday? That way I don't have to worry about it and everything's there for Monday when I get back. To me, that's almost the epitome of where most people want to be, but they neglect that part of the vacation and they use that as a reason to go back to the behavior that they are trying to avoid doing.
Yeah. Well, again, it goes back to my favorite word that I'm going to say every fucking podcast. You have false confidence that you somehow are going to come home and figure out how to whip together these healthy meals with nothing you have in your fridge.
Right.
That was us over because we were going out of town on Wednesday. So we didn't order groceries like we normally do. Luckily, I have enough shit in my house to like make things work,
Right.
But not everyone has. I have that confidence to be like, all right, we got some cottage cheese. We got this. I'll put cottage cheese, eggs, maybe some whatever we had.
Right.
I don't remember what I ate, but we made it work. Right. But I had the confidence to be able to be completely tired, unmotivated, and still put together a healthy meal.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've practiced this for so long. Right. So the other plan we want to plan for, though, is plateaus. Right. Because you will plateau and it's okay. That is usually for me, diet break central, coming back up to maintenance. Maybe we need to be out of that deficit for a while, or just also look at our behaviors, right? So we're talking about nutrition, but say that your steps have gone down, you haven't been working out consistently. Like that's also something we need to focus on in those plateaus, because if we're now taking ourselves out of an activity level that was maybe moderately active and now we're lightly active, then we need to adjust our nutrition plan based on that. But definitely planning for plateaus. Again, my default usually is a diet break. What about yours?
Same. Or I like to say, I almost leave it up to the client too, because our goal is to always give them the confidence to do this on their own. If they choose to, great. If they don't, great. But the thing is like, hey, we're in a plateau. What do you think we should do? And if they're like, cut more, it's like, no.
Oh my God.
I know, right? And it's like, no, let's add food back in and just take a break. Or what, like they'll say more exercise probably. And it's like, no. So teaching them that this is, like you said, normal. And sometimes a plateau looks like a plateau, but if you wait it out a little bit, or sometimes a plateau looks like a plateau, but it's an issue with consistency and honest tracking. So
correct.
That's something that we also have to address as well. Is like, before we say, let's go to maintenance, we got to assess, like, are you tracking consistently? Are you tracking your drinks? Are you not tracking bites, licks, and taste? Right. So where is the pitfall? And if all of those are covered, then we need to pull out. Or did you not plan ahead? Right. And so, or did you go out to eat last week because you were, maybe traveling for work, and you didn't add the butters and oils and the extra stuff that they put in the food when you're dining out? Because that could easily put you at a maintenance to surplus, which is fine for a week. But if we're not considering that, then we don't need to say, well, you didn't lose the pound per week because of XYZ. It's more so of your inconsistency in tracking.
Agreed. Most of the time when we're plateauing, I can't say for all of our clients, but there's an issue with the food.
Yes.
I talked about my one client who had a lot of sugar. So she was having a lot of, she wasn't gaining weight. She was just retaining so much water that the scale just would up, down, up, down, up, down. And it was a issue with food. Even some of the clients that I put on like a Mediterranean diet, while obviously the benefits of the Mediterranean diet are like anti-inflammatory, I personally think it is actually a mental kind of hack, because high protein, high fat is very satisfying.
Yes.
And our body, yes, we're still getting carbohydrates in. It's not necessarily a low carb diet. We're getting those carbohydrates in, but our body is satisfied and our body is slowing that gastric emptying longer, which helps kind of curb some of our food behaviors if we have a higher carb diet. So I'm just saying that. But if you are plateauing majority of the time, it is an issue with your food, or you've significantly reduced your movement over a long period of time. That's important to note too.
Not like a rest week.
Right. That's totally different. So good. And then of course we want to just create a plan or a schedule, right? So I love your schedule of Mondays we have tacos, Tuesday we have spaghetti, Wednesday we have this. So that's like a weekly schedule, but then also your schedule for, okay, I'm in maintenance for this long. I'm in a deficit for the 6 weeks up to my vacation. 2 weeks prior to my vacation, I'm going to bring my calories back up to maintenance. And then boom, we repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. So just to go over those again, we had number 1, reflect on the past, try to understand the behaviors, thoughts, and feelings you've had around food, begin to recognize what did not serve you and what did serve you. Write out your why. Again, ask yourself that question. Why do I want this? Why is it important to me? Like I said, as that we've been talking about this, I've kind of realized I don't need to go into a mini cut because my why is not strong enough, to be honest with you. It might also be because my stomach is growling. Let me finish this and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Define your goals using the SMART goals acronym. So it's specific. Goals need to be specific. They need to be measurable. They need to be achievable. They need to be relevant and within a certain timeline, right? So we can even add a SMART goal list, like a little graphic that I have in the show notes.
What you're talking about.
Yeah. Building a flexible plan, right? I love the idea of a plan that has your minimums and what you can do maximum, right? So again, that's the person we want to be. We're going to show up like her maybe 1 or 2 days a week, but if we also show up like our minimum gal, we're still showing up for ourselves.
Right.
And then plan ahead. Daily, weekly, yearly planning is going to be super important to kind of give you a game plan. Plus, I think sometimes too, when you're like, okay, well, I'm just in this deficit for like 6 weeks and then I get to go back to maintenance. It helps your mind when you have those parameters around, oh, this is only 3 weeks. I can do anything for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that works in a bulk too, of like when you're just feeling kind of that fluffy, uncomfortable in my body. It's like, okay, I only have 2 more weeks, so I might as well just do it, and rather than giving up and throwing in the towel. But also I think there's a freedom in knowing like I'm in maintenance. I can enjoy this stuff. I'm challenging, going back to your point of like, you have to have worked through some of these challenges too, to build that resiliency and that self-awareness of like, because a lot of times in maintenance, my clients have, I don't want to say a problem, but they are fearful because there's more freedom. And so that freedom doesn't necessarily mean they binge, but it's like that fear of like, what if I do? And it's like, but you won't, because you can have the cookie. It's giving them that approach of like, I can really eat this much and still achieve this body or maintain this body as well.
Yeah. Love. Well, good. Well, we hope you guys enjoy this information. We hope that you feel set with any sort of goals that you want to achieve in 2025. We'll continue this journey towards the new year throughout the podcast over the month of December. If you want to give us a follow, please follow us on Instagram at Mindset and Matter Coaching and fitbyamanda.az. You can also find the recordings of this on YouTube at the Mindset Mirror Connection YouTube page. Don't forget about our December special, of our introductory offer for our Mindset Method group coaching membership program. It is $275 a month and includes access to the Mindset Method curriculum, access to 2 group coaching calls per week, access to our on-demand training program that has 5 gym, 5 at-home or dumbbell-only workouts, time crunch, core, and body weight workouts as well. You will also get custom nutrition and macro coaching on a monthly basis and also access to the community forum. So this is introductory price. This is very, very, I believe, well priced for what you actually receive compared to other membership programs. So check out the link in the show notes below. And as always, we want you, if you don't like any of the strategies, we want you to remember this one strategy.
What you say in the mind,
you see in the mirror. I also forgot to talk about why I'm so hungry.
Why are you so hungry?
I meal prepped yesterday and I meal prepped these breakfast sandwiches. So I made, it was 1 egg, it was 5 eggs, 8 ounces of egg whites, and 2 ounces of cottage cheese. And I mix it and then I put it in 6 tins and baked it. Right. Then I bought the chicken apple sausage patties, but they're frozen. Then I put a thin cheese. I put 2, the English muffin, and I wrap them in foil and put them in the freezer. It's my first time doing this. And I put it in the air fryer in the foil, thinking that would be hot enough. And then I ate it and it was cold in the middle. And I was just like, it was so bad, but I was like, I don't have time to go eat this up. I'm just going to eat this gross cold thing. So I think my brain just didn't feel like
Full.
satisfied.
No.
Yeah. So that was my issue. So I'm going to go eat.
Okay.
You can keep that in or out. Okay. Bye.
Bye.